Hello YouTube and welcome to Bub's World. This is Bub, your host, and we're going to get into some comics today. So it's going to be a comic haul of all DC variety, Detective Comics, DC Comics. Yeah, it's going to be good. And we're going to get to it from the Bowling Green Comic and Toy Show that I went to just recently, about a week ago. So this is the DC haul. When we finish the DC haul, we'll have an independent haul coming up next. And that's where some of my favorite books are. But I did get 2 books off my want list at this convention, so I'm real psyched about that. And one of them I had a real hard time getting, and I got it here super cheap. So good deal. Let's make me small and get to the haul and get right to it. Wait. Yeah, there it is. All right. Yo! Oh, did you see that? Oh, man, my neck's killing me. All right. So first up, nothing major, nothing special, but just my wife saw this cover. She was like, that's cool. And I was like, that is cool. And we got Detective Comics number 448. Look at that. You guys know, or you may not know, if you're not a frequenter of the channel. If you're not, I suggest that you hit the subscribe button, give me a like, leave a comment, you know, all that stuff. Call to action. But this Detective Comics 448's got that Talia al Ghul. And I just think she's great. She's my favorite of the Batman kind of female group. I know everybody likes to ship Catwoman and Batman together, but I really like Talia al Ghul. I always thought that was the best, and I like that they produced a Robin. So that's my favorite girl for him, is Talia. So, but isn't that cool? It says, "This is the way it began. This is the way it ends." Look at that. I'll tell you, man, it must be cold out there. Holy moly. Look at that. That's outstanding. All right. We got that. I went ahead and put 2 other Batman Vixens up here. I couldn't help myself. So, Tech 448. Now, this next book, you guys may or may not recall an Aquaman book that I picked up at the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention. And I really, that book was awesome, but I almost didn't get it because the guy wanted double what I ended up paying for it. And he was real nice to me on the last day of the con and let me have it for half price. But other than that, I was going to buy it, but it was just too much. But they had another book at the convention that I saw a couple of places that was like half the price of that. And I was like, maybe I should buy that book, but I'm glad I didn't because I ended up getting it today. It was Aquaman number 46. With a nice Mike Piazza cover. Nice Pieta cover there. Look at that. You did this to her, and now you die. But it still looks kind of like he's not in control of the situation. But here's Mira, flopped out as usual. I mean, if you're ever looking for the dead fish look, Mira provides that constantly. Great Nick Cardy cover. Again, and I'll say this every time I show off one of these books, I'm not trying to collect the whole Nick Cardy run of Aquaman, but I would also not be upset if it just showed up in the mail one day. So that's kind of how I'm picking these up. There's a couple on my hit list that I just think are fantastic. And this is like maybe the 2nd or 3rd best cover of this nature that is in the Nick Cardy run of the early Aquaman. So really, really glad to get this at a super reasonable price. Couldn't pass it up. Couldn't believe it. Like, I was super excited to get it. Now, not that it's impossible to get at that price, but at the last convention, I saw it 2 or 3 times higher than this. So very happy with that. All right, let's get to the want list books. This next book I've lost. You ever have a book that you just always seem to lose? Like, I've lost it in auctions. I bid on it in mycomicshop.com auctions. I've bid on it in eBay, and I just always lose. And I think the reason is because one time there was a buy it now on eBay for this book, and it was like $25, and I didn't buy it. And I was like, oh, don't worry. I kept putting it off. Other books I want to get, and then it never showed up for that price again. And that was like a year ago. So ever since then, I'm like, I'm not paying more than $25 for that book. Like, I refused. Ended up finding it for even less than that. Lois Lane number 111. I've been wanting this book for a while. It's got kind of a Gulliver's Travels homage cover. So it's got, you know, giant Lois Lane, and she's strapped down. I think you have to call that bondage. I mean, she's wrapped around the wrists and ankles and everything. And you got the Justice League holding her down. And it's really cool how they have different ways of doing it. So, looks like Green Arrow is tossing an arrow all the way across. So he's doing some of the long range binding. You got Black Canary. She's pulling on the wrists there, trying to get everything tight. You got Green Lantern, as lazy as ever, using his ring just to tie something down, because, you know, he's that guy. You got Hawkman pulling stuff tight. You got Batman throwing like a Batarang type style. It looks like maybe he's throwing it to Green Lantern and they're working together. You got Aquaman staking it down. He's swinging the old hammer. And you got Superman pulling another rope tight. And the Flash, he's just, you know, also tightening up. So very cool stuff. And you got Lois Lane in her kind of swirly kind of bikini. Very cool. Short hair, don't care. Looking fantastic. I mean, this book, and it's in really nice condition. I've seen this book trashed. I mean, trashed. Corners ripped. Totally lost all its color. But look at the rich color on this book. Isn't that great? That is so fantastic. Absolutely love this cover. Been trying to get that in. It's a fun read, but as is typical for the day, it says trapped by the Justice League, and then a Rose and Thorn. But as typical for the day, it's all a dream. You know, it's a big long. The whole thing is just a big long dream montage where she's, you know, in and out of consciousness. It's kind of goofy, but that's to be expected. It was more of a cover buy, but I knew the story would be goofy, so I kind of wanted to read it too. So fun story, goofy but fun. That book, I'm telling you, try finding that book for a reasonable price. People just want a bunch for it, especially in condition like this. I mean, this is, I wouldn't call this high grade, but for what it is, I'd say it's better than most you find out there, and that's what I was looking for. And it was half the price. I think, I can't remember even when I paid for it. I want to say it was like $6 or $7. I mean, I can't believe that compared to what I've been seeing it go for. So super happy with that. This next book has been on my want list for quite a while as well. Never did pull the trigger, and my main reason for not pulling the trigger was, again, price. I just get things stuck in my head where I don't want to pay a certain amount for a book. And this is a book that even in really, really low grade, and it's got a mostly black cover, so the low grade of this book always shows off in the book. Like this, if this was a little low grade, it wouldn't be as bad. But this book, when it's real low grade, boy, can you tell, because it's just destroyed. This one needs a little help. It's got a lot of spine takes and a little bit kind of real color breaking. You can kind of tell if I angle it just right that it needs a good press too, so it'll get that. And then just stay in the collection. I probably won't grade it because I absolutely love the way it looks in this Gator Guard case. And with the black and blue there, I went ahead and did a black and blue mix match on the screws and bolts. And I put the bolt in the front and the screw in the back so that the screw bottom would show through and give you a nice two-tone effect. Now, I've never seen anybody else do that. So, and I'm not, whatever. I'm not some, inventive genius. I'm just saying I've never seen anybody else do that. So when I thought of it, I was like, I wonder how that'll look. So I went ahead and did it, and I'm very pleased with the results. And I'll probably do that a little bit more. I've already got in my head because they have gold screws and red bolts, and mix match that for some Iron Man covers. I thought that's going to look freaking awesome. So, and then there's some gold and blue. I'm going to mix match gold and blue and do some Wolverine covers. So I got a lot of stuff in my head. So it opened up a whole nother way to display books. And from anywhere in the room, you can see that blue and black contrast in the aluminum screw and bolts. I just love it. Back to the comic. Bernie Wrightson, killing it on this one. Classic horror book. Just the look of fear in this guy's eyes is just absolutely fantastic. Man, look at that. Look at that. He's so scared, and the last light is about to die, and he's losing it, man. It's all over but the crying. Good stuff there. Bernie Wrightson killing it on House of Secrets number 103. Thank you, sir, for your hard work. Now, to jump all the way from Bronze Age horror all the way over, we're going to skip a few months and we're going to get into Christmas time. Here's Christmas with the Superheroes limited collector's editions of Treasuries. This is beyond low grade. In fact, it had a $7 price sticker on here, had a $5 price sticker on the inside, and that's just to keep this corner on. That says $1. But Christmas with the Superheroes, picked this up for, I think, $5. I think I paid $5 for it. So it's kind of cool. The only point of these are that in Christmas time, I throw these around the house. So that's why it doesn't have to be high grade. In fact, it's better if it's not, because it's not going to stay that way anyway. Because kids will pick it up and family and people, and I'll pick it up and just read through it. And it's just a cool way to bring the comic collection out of the comic room. So, you know, my collecting room in here has so much stuff, but you know, you ever invite somebody into the house and let them kind of look at your comic room and they're like, well, what's going on here? But when you bring this stuff out, they're like, oh, that's cool. I never seen that before. Or you never know the reaction you'll get. Somebody else will say, oh, I've seen that before. I missed that. Look at the House of Mystery Christmas special. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So, some Night Prowler. This is pretty cool stuff. So, you know, Christmas is not here yet, but it's time to kind of start getting ready, because if you guys have ever tried to buy a horror book in October, you know that the price is, you pay like the Halloween premium for any horror book in October. And the same thing happens for these somewhere around Thanksgiving or so. And I like to have these out when we do our decorating. We usually decorate the tree and everything around Thanksgiving. So I like to put these out then. And you'll see that the price of these start going up around Thanksgiving, and everything has the Christmas premium on it for any Christmas related, especially the older stuff. The newer stuff obviously is still new, so it costs the same. But for the more vintage stuff, you end up paying more. So there you go. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. That's our, this is number, C43 or whatever. They have weird ways of numbering them. So I hope you enjoyed that little haul. This is again from the Bowling Green Comic and Toy Show, and loving that. Look how cool that is. And that, those are the two big scores of the day. And then of course the Aquaman and the Tech. So good stuff. Nice little DC haul for y'all. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll catch you next time on Bub's World. Remember to read a comic and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.